So the first book I read this year was Sylvia Plath's The Bell Jar, and I loved the book, and I'm quite embarrassed to admit that I didn't know about Sylvia Plath until about a year ago when one of my favorite YouTubers did a video on her. Now Sylvia Plath was primarily a poet, and The Bell Jar is, I think, her only novel. So the story starts with the main character Esther Greenwood doing her internship at a prestigious magazine called Ladies' Day in New York and having access to elite parties and fashion. But she's totally disillusioned by it all and doesn't feel the excitement that she thinks she ought to feel. And there starts her descent to depression. Throughout the whole book, the reader gets to see her mental state in detail. We get to experience a tiny part of what people with acute depression likely feel. A lot of people who read this book found this depressing. There are various Goodreads comments on the same. I, however, found it extremely hopeful. Despite her clinical depression diagnosis and despite her visits to various mental institutions, I felt Esther was going to be okay. She probably won't have a normal life, but she would survive, maybe even thrive. The Bell Jar was initially published under a pseudonym Victoria Lucas. The book gained a lot of popularity when people found out that Sylvia Plath was the real author of the book. It also gained fame because of Sylvia's private life and her death at the young age of 30. Sylvia took her own life a month after the first publication of The Bell Jar in UK. Now let's talk a little bit about Sylvia Plath. Sylvia was born in 1932 in Boston, Massachusetts, and was a straight-A student all her life. Many believe that it was her relentless drive that caused the first mental breakdown in her teens. Despite that, she got a full scholarship to Cambridge at the age of 22. There she met her future husband and fellow poet, Ted Hughes. They got married in 1956 and lived together in the United States and then in England. Her relationship with her husband was always strained, and Sylvia indicated that she suffered abuse at his hands. He also left her for another woman, and this likely added to her mental deterioration. Despite the turmoil in her personal life, Sylvia Plath continued to produce extraordinary pieces of work, or maybe was it because of it? Who knows? Regardless, anyone who has read her works can agree that she has this amazing ability to visualize inner turmoil and put it on paper. There is this part in the book The Bell Jar when she talks about a fig tree. This is probably the most famous part of the book and probably the most talked about part of the book. She uses a fig tree as a metaphor to signify decision paralysis. Let me narrate the fig tree part of the book. This is from the point of view of the main character, Esther Greenwood. I saw my life branching out before me like the green fig tree in the story. From the tip of every branch, like a fat purple fig, a wonderful future beckoned and winked. One fig was a husband and a happy home and children, and another fig was a famous poet, and another fig was a brilliant professor, and another fig was E.G., the amazing editor, and another fig was Europe and Africa and South America, and another fig was Constantine and Socrates and Attila and a pack of other lovers with queer names and offbeat professions, and another fig was an Olympic lady crew champion, and beyond and above these figs were many more figs I could not quite make out. I saw myself sitting in the crotch of this fig tree, starving to death because I couldn't make up my mind which of the figs I would choose. I wanted each and every one of them, but choosing one meant losing all the rest, and as I sat there unable to decide, the figs began to wrinkle and go black, and one by one they plopped to the ground at my feet. Through this paragraph, Sylvia probably wanted to describe the plight of women during 1950s when they had to choose between having a family or having a career. But I think this metaphor applies to both men and women in today's day and age as well. Everyone experiences decision paralysis at some point in their life, and that's the beauty of Plath's writing. She can make you visualize abstract ideas and emotions. If you ever read Plath's works, please let me know how you feel about them. That's it for today. Thank you for listening to me talk. See you next time. Bye.